The following is a presentation of the Marion Patriots Athletics Network.
And welcome to this week's edition of the Patcast, sitting down with head girls basketball coach Shunda Johnson. Coach, the first half of the conference schedule doesn't end the way we won against the Jonesboro Hurricane. I thought your girls played very well. It seemed like it was back and forth the whole night, just not able to finish there at the end of the game. Overall, what was your thoughts?
I really enjoyed the first half. First half, we came in, we had a technical foul due to a book, and we were down, I think, 11-4 or 11-6. We made a run, substituted a couple girls, and they came in. They were extremely productive, Amaya Sloan and Cynthia Robinson, and they just elevated the game for us, and that was a pleasant surprise. We were, to finish the second quarter, we were up 7, like 2 minutes left, and they could not hear me for some reason. I mean, it was pretty loud out there, and we made a nice little run. We had the lead, and we just could not sustain. You know, it's just one of those deals. I just need for them to actually just think basketball and show that we're teaching them the game. Ended up losing by 4. Came down to the end. A couple kids fouled out, a couple key players fouled out, and we missed layups and missed free throws down the stretch. So it just went the other way for Jonesboro.
I was going to ask it a little later, but you mentioned her, Amaya Sloan. Incredible game for her. I think we counted 5 3-pointers for her.
5 of 10.
To be able to come off like that off the bench, I think she may have been the only Lady Patriot in double figures.
Yes,
too.
She had 21, and I think that the next kid had 7.
So to have a player like that come off the bench and produce like that,
yes.
What does that say? And
we've been saying all year, if we just had one outside jump shooter, and I told Coach Johnston, I said, we got our outside jump shooter, that was in rhythm and shot the ball extremely well with confidence, and we still lose. I'm just like, how do you do that? How do you do that?
Production-wise, you had some good plays from players like Delaney and Montgomery. Also, some great plays from Henderson as well. Mm-hmm. It seems like every grade level so far has produced the seniors, juniors, and sophomores. We were talking about production from the juniors at the beginning of the season, but we do have players like Santia and Jayla who have become pretty consistent scorers. To have that in each of the grade levels, what does that say about your team's depth?
It's promising, and we felt from the beginning of the school year, before season started, that we had depth this year, which was a difference from last season. We're only running about 8-man rotation. It could be 10 if the other girls will come in and just be productive, or just keep the game where it was when you substituted or whatever. The sophomore class, if they stick together, they'll get stronger. And that junior class, we just need for them to make a statement, a consistent statement.
The Jonesboro game, the end of the first half of the rotation in the conference schedule. How would you grade your team after that first half?
First half, C-. And the reason being, we've lost 4 games, and it's not even 20 points. 10 by Nelliton, 2 by West Memphis, 3 by Mountain Home, and then 4 by Jonesboro. So every team we played is beatable. We should have been 6-1, to be honest. With what the talent we have, and with the athleticism we have, and with the speed we have, we should be 6-1. But if we don't have anybody, like you said earlier, finishing out games for us, and then having key players foul out, the same fouls. That's the thing about it. Give us a different foul, or do not get that foul and keep yourself in a game so you can make a difference on both the offensive and defensive end for us. So that's what we need our girls this next go around, to show maturity, show that we can play much better than we did, come from that C- to, A+. And like we told them earlier this week, run the table, run the floor. We can go 7-0 and we can still finish 10-4. with a high possibility, making it to the state tournament.
You mentioned some of the things you'd like to work on. What are some of the positives? What are some things you liked from that first half of the season that you want to see continue?
They're competitive. They play extremely hard. Like every single post-game talk, we're like, ladies, you're playing extremely hard, and we appreciate that. We have very good effort. Now I need some second effort. That first effort has been decent. Now we need to go and we need to maximize and capitalize on every possibility and possession possible at this point right here.
Starting off the second half of the rotation with a familiar name, the West Memphis Blue Devils. This is always a game that is full of emotion because the girls know each other from both teams. They've been playing against each other their whole lives pretty much. In a game like this, especially that you've already seen them once this season, like you said, a close one, a 2-point game, just coming down to that last shot. What are some things you liked from that game, and what are some things that you want to improve upon in the second meeting?
Second half, we rallied. We were down. It was double digits. We were down in the first half, and we came out pressing, sped West Memphis up, made them turn the ball over, and we capitalized on turnovers. What we need to do a better job this go around, we got to make our free throws down the stretch. When they foul us, we got to make them pay for it, and we got to use our speed. They have a couple kids. I don't think it's quick. Especially in like 4 and 5 positions, we need to outrun those young ladies and get down the court and get some easy buckets.
When they have players that are quick, like you mentioned, like Araya Hazley, she's been a name that we've called pretty consistently last couple of years for the Blue Devils. What kind of challenges does she present, and what are some things you can do to guard against a player like her?
One thing about her that we've always talked about, she wants to win. She's playing to win at all costs. And she can put her team on her shoulders and rally them around her. What we need to do now is force her left and keep her left. And we have to keep her from being able just to do whatever she wants to do while she's out there. She has the ability to get, go north to south, get to the paint. She can drive, she can shoot, she can pass. So we got to take all 3 of those things away from her. We got to put pressure on her, be physical as we can without fouling, and, and let her know that we're not afraid of them at all.
Well, it should be a fun one. 6 o'clock is the tip for Friday night's game between the Patriots and the Blue Devils. Catch the game at Lear Arena, but if you can't make it, MarionPatriots.com and the Marion Patriots mobile app. Should be a fun one. The crowd's always into this one, Coach.
All the time.
I am excited for this one. We'll be right back with the Patcast right after these messages.
Mitchell Family Medicine provides exceptional medical care and compassionate hope to the whole family. We accept patients of all ages and are here to serve you. We take care of chronic conditions, annual physicals, acute care medical needs, and so much more. For your convenience, we have an in-house x-ray, lab, and pharmacy. Come see us at our new location at 924 Highway 77 in Marion, or find us online at mitchellfamilymedicine.com. Mitchell Family Medicine. You can depend on us for life.
Game night doesn't end when the game does. Keep the celebration going with Game Night Happy Hour at Sonic. Happy Hour is no time to be hungry, so be sure to get some cheese sticks for 99 cents, or if something sweet is how you want to celebrate, get a 99-cent mini blast. Don't forget your student ID to get your student discount. Even if you can't make it to the game, just make it to the Marion Sonic, where we broadcast all the away games. Win or lose, it's about where you go after the game. Head to Sonic, where you skip the line and visit a stall to dine.
And welcome back to the Patcast, sitting down with head boys coach David Clark. First things first, we'll start with the Jonesboro game, another overtime loss. The last time Patriots in overtime, that first game in Vegas. Overall, besides the loss, I was really impressed with the boys in this game, especially down 14 in the fourth quarter, to come back like 14 points in 2 minutes, something like that, go to overtime, something I was not expecting at all. Let's start with that fourth quarter. What were you telling your team down double digits?
I told them that we've been in this position before and that this isn't anything that we haven't seen, and just, ride it on now. Let's keep fighting, keep digging, and the game isn't over. The game isn't over until the last buzzer sounds, so unless the buzzer sounds, then we're still playing.
Overtime kind of started off pretty slow. I think both teams missed like 4 free throws each before we finally had some points in that overtime. What do you think the cause for that was? Was it just jitters being in a big game like that in overtime?
I think everybody wanted to, make that first blow and knock out the other team out, and neither one of us can really strike it and deliver that punch. But once we both got to going, it turned into a pretty good overtime game.
Dietrich's had some games all throughout the season that you can point at and just talk about just how good a player he is, but 39 against Jonesboro. Again, like we talked about pregame last week, Coach Swift, he's got a game plan for Dietrich, and still to put up 39, what does that say about his play?
He's just a remarkable player, excellent scorer, one of the best scorers I've ever coached. It comes effortless to him, and once he really gets to going, it's hard to slow him down. It's hard to stop him. Credit to Jonesboro with throwing multiple defensive players and traps at us at the end of the game to force him into some bad situations. But he still had a great game. I was just a little disappointed at our other guys that they can really contribute to help him out, because he really had a great game. He carried us the whole game.
The game against Jonesboro was also the end of the first cycle of conference games, ending up 4-2 in conference play after this first rotation. What grade would you give your team?
I'd give us a B- because the loss I think we're 4-3, just to be honest with it. The loss against Jonesboro, we should have won that one. And then even though we didn't have Dietrich Reeves Jr. for the Searcy game, we were still capable of winning that game, so we should have won that game also. The West Memphis game, it came down to the end last 3 minutes and 2 minutes until they kind of pulled away with the game, and we were in that game. So I wouldn't say that we're playing our best basketball, but we're coming around to playing our best basketball. And if we could finish, like where we were the first part of the conference, the second part of the conference, we'll make it to the playoffs. And we'll be right in position to where we need to be, not where we want to be, to try to contend for another state title.
Yeah, completely right. It is 4-3 in conference play. What are some things that you liked from this first cycle that you want to see continue on into the second?
We have to rebound the basketball, and our players that I'm really counting on, which is Darius Waterford and Timothy McDonald, has to pick up the scoring load a little bit. All games that we lost, and I'm not throwing out hints or secrets for the other team, but they shot the ball poorly. I think last game, Darius was 1 for 8 from the field, and Tim was 1 for 7. And then the game we lost against West Memphis, one was 1 for 9, the other one was 1 for 8. And then we didn't play too well against Searcy, but they both had horrible percentages from the field, but they shot a lot of shots. So I need those two juniors to step up and play like they're seniors, and I think we'll have a successful second half of the season.
We start off the second cycle of the conference at West Memphis. Last time these two teams played, you hold Chris Moore to single digits, but West Memphis still able to find perimeter shooting, able to find mid-range shooting. Even with a guy like Chris Moore on that team, besides him, what other challenges are you going to be looking at against West Memphis?
Just contain their guards, off the dribble, and shooting the basketball. The reason we got in trouble against that West Memphis game, including Searcy and Jonesboro, is our defensive rotation wasn't correct. And we've been working on it the whole year, but now we're just starting to understand our rotation and how to rotate around the perimeter to the shooters so we won't give up as many threes. Penetration has been well. We're starting to jump to the ball. We're starting to get to guys penetrating. It's just the rotation wasn't right, and with a young group of guys that haven't played last year, and we was a senior-led team last year, they haven't really adapted to taking that role of just playing defense. But now I guess, through a little practice, a little film work, a little hard work and discipline, they're starting to come around to it.
I'll go ahead and put a star next to Dietrich Reeves' name. So besides him, who are some other players that you think have a potential to have a big game in the second one against West Memphis?
Makai Boyce, he played his heart out. You didn't see it in the stats. You saw it in other statistical categories except for points, but he had a great game rebounding. I think he blocked 3 or 4 shots. He had a couple steals. He didn't score the ball as well. He had, I think, 4 points that whole game. So I'm looking for him to step up and be a leader. The other one is the freshman that we have, Jaden Forrest. I think he can really come around and start scoring the basketball. He didn't score as well as the last 3 games, but that Cersei game, he really put out a big effort in the absence of Dietrich Reeves. So I think if he picks us up scoring a little bit, we'll be fine.
7:30 is the approximate tip-off for that one from Lear Arena. Coach, Marion and West Memphis should be a fun crowd too.
It's a rivalry game, so I think, it's really for all the marbles and the bragging rights of both cities. So I think we're going to come with it this game and should come out victorious.
Should be a fun one. We hope to see you there, but if you can't make it, MarionPatriots.com and the Marion Patriots mobile app. Should be a fun one. Thanks for tuning into this week's edition of the Patcast. Until next time, go Pats.